So Jir has waited for exactly 8 hours now, and he's literally just been sitting in this room waiting for it to get very late at night. It's now it's 12:30 a.m. So yeah, it's half an hour past midnight. But he feels this is the perfect time. Apologies there, I knocked the pop screen. He feels this is the perfect time to steal from Dragonsreach and the Jarl, because no doubt that they'll be asleep. He's hoping that the Jarl hasn't had any business to do late this evening, that he'll be asleep, and so will those very unfortunately placed children of his that stopped Jair twice when he tried to reach the Jarl's quarters, and he had to sort of pull away, and he knew that trying again would probably get him arrested. That's the last thing he wants to do. This is his first big heist, I guess you could say. He doesn't want it to go wrong. This is practice in a way for him. If he manages to pull this off, he knows he has some thieving skills that he can put to use throughout the land of Skyrim, make himself some money, even maybe make a name for himself. I mean, being infamous, in a way, he sort of likes the idea of being a bit infamous. I mean, he probably already has quite an infamous name over in the Sunset Isles for killing that lowly Royal High Elf, but even if it is becoming infamous, he'd like to make a name for himself here in the land of Skyrim, and perhaps becoming infamous, gaining infamy, will open up some doors for him. So he spent the time in this room basically reading the Black Arrow a couple more times, and now he feels... He also read a little bit of Herbologist's Guide to Skyrim, which tells him about the different plants. So he feels he's got a good grasp on archery now, and he thinks that he'll now have the ability to perform quite well with the bow. Not too over the... He feels he'll be able to use the bow at least, and hopefully do some damage to enemies. However, he's not quite sure if he wants to add using marksmanship into his fighting repertoire just yet. But he also read a little bit on herbalists, not herbologists. I'm thinking of Harry Potter, I believe there. I'm not quite sure. But having read this, he knows a few of the plants now in the land of Skyrim, and he's now going to be able to identify them and know their properties. So anyway, it's now midnight, and he's going to make his way out, and he's hoping that the servants are too busy cleaning up after perhaps after the Jarl, after his dinner or some such. But he's going to make his way into the Jarl's quarters, and he knows the way now. He knows which way to go. He's hoping that the guards maybe have left to leave the Jarl in peace, but he's not quite sure if they will have, which could pose a problem if they have not. Oh. Oh, okay. Right, that's typical Skyrim right there. Very irritating that happens. I don't understand how... It's very frustrating that NPCs can see through the walls, because it certainly wasn't that woman right there that we saw. So that is rather irritating and highly unrealistic. But let's try that again, and hopefully the woman that can see through the walls will most certainly not see us this time. Otherwise, that's really going to ruin this part of Jair's story. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. I'm not quite sure what even set her off. Okay, right, we're here. And, okay, right. You're going to... Right, you don't seem quite bothered by us. Perhaps that's a servant that Jair has... Perhaps he gave her a few gold coins to shut her mouth. Not to say it in a rude manner, but to keep her mouth quiet so she wouldn't sort of snitch on him, because obviously that's a possibility. And it seems as though this is perhaps a guest room. He's guessing that this is probably a guest room that he stumbled upon. He thought he'd managed to steal from the Jarl's quarters, but not. Okay, right. So there's no guard here. There's no patrolling guard like there was earlier, which is a good sign. But he's worried that there could be this guard still. No, is he there? Is he there? Time will tell. Ah, he's there. Interesting. This could prove difficult for Jair, because with that guards there, he's plainly going to be spotted. Yeah. And the kids have once again noticed Jair. This is a joke. Yeah, okay. You do that. Okay, so a little bit of immersion break in here, but the only way I'm going to be able to put... I mean, it's ludicrous that it's midnight and these people are all still up. In reality, I'm sure that those kids would be in bed. It's a little bit frustrating, and it kind of makes... Like, Bethesda obviously pushed this whole being able to thieve and such, and sort of that you could pull that off. And in Oblivion and Skyrim, you know, thieving is one of the... They do sort of make that... They push that as one of the viable options you could do with your character. It's very frustrating that I can't even bloody pull it off, because NPCs that shouldn't be awake are. But let's just say that guard isn't there. Let's just imagine the guard... Or perhaps Jair has paid him a few gold coins for him to shut his mouth as well. I know this is a little bit of an immersion break-in. I do apologise. I was hoping that this would not end up going this way, but oh well, let's continue. We'll say that Jair has paid this guard just to turn a blind eye, and he's noticed this rather unusual looking gem, and it's very much intrigued him. It's floating, which he finds rather odd, and he's most certainly going to take that. And of course, that's typical of the game, to throw a quest our way. But anyway, so he's taken this unusual gem, and he at least he feels that there's some worth to that gem. It certainly looks quite pricey, but I'm not quite sure what the Jarl is doing with miners' clothing. That's rather odd. This is the Jarl's room. Yeah, there's some not quite the haul that Jair was expecting. In fact, if anything, he's quite disappointed in this. He feels like he'd probably get more booty from the weapons shop down the road. Aha! Okay, no, this looks like the Jarl's quarters. Bingo, silver ingots. Well, he's certainly going to take them because he does have armor. He does have... What's the word we're looking for? Well, he has smithing. He has smithing experience, so he feels that he could probably turn them silver ingots into some pieces of jewellery, silver jewellery, if he manages to find some gems and such. He'll be able to put that into the jewellery as well and make it much more... sell it for a much higher price. What's this? Before the ages of man, illusion increased. Okay, not like Jair will probably use any magic. He's not a magic character, but still, that's nice. That's something to add to our advantage that we'll never use. And what's the Jarl doing with potent paralysis poison? Well, that's interesting. Nevertheless, Jair is going to take it because that might come in handy one day when he faces a rather strong foe. But he's kind of mammoth tusk. Well, that no, we're not going to take that. That seems a bit too heavy. Jair is kind of disappointed. This is the Jarl's quarters and nothing, completely nothing. This is ludicrous. The Jarl has nothing. He feels a bit hard done by all of this planning, and the Jarl has nothing. And well, okay, right, okay, yeah. So those kids, this is total immersion breaking. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen. It's very irritating. It does make me wonder why they peddle thieving, the ability to be able to thieve in this game, and yet you can't pull off a good heist with the Jarls. In the Jarl's house, as it were, because his children are away. It's just quite frustrating. It's funny how you can... I mean, I can understand it'd be harder, but not only that, there was nothing in the Jarl's bedroom at all. There was nothing of value, which is... He's a Jarl. He's quite rich. I expect him to have a treasury or something. That's where I think this game is lacking. In terms of the thieving, you don't want to just sort of go into weapon shops. I mean, I know there's maybe is there a couple of jewelry shops in this game? I believe there is. And sure, but there's only two. I think that it'd be much cooler if you could pull off a heist in one of the Jarls' houses, and he has like a treasury, and if you manage to get through past the guards and you get undo the lockpicks, or you bribe people, and then you make your way into the treasury, and then there's this giant hall, and it's just incredible, and you get to take it all. I mean, I really think that, I mean, you could do so many different things in this game, but at the same time, all of those different elements are lacking in detail and lacking in immersion. Especially, one for me is the thieving. I mean, they certainly made it a lot better in this game in certain elements that we won't get into now, if we ever do get into. But Jair is quite disappointed. You know, there was nothing in the Jarls' quarters at all. He wasted money bribing the guard, and that made for nothing, basically. However, through the failure of trying to rob the Jarl of his nothing, I think he managed to get 30 gold out of that, after that little heist there. He's now going to go into the weapon shop, because he may not have staked this place out, he may not have been in here before, but he knows this is the weapon shop. He can imagine that they probably have some ingots which he can put to good use, and he's going to do it tonight because it's still late at night. And as soon as he does this, he doesn't expect to come back to Whiterun for some time now. So he's not doing too well on the old lockpick here. There we go. But he's not going to come back to Whiterun for some time now, because he's stolen from the potion shop. He's stolen from the Jarl, right out from the Jarl's nose, even though the Jarl appears to be the most skintest, if nobody knows what that is, that's British slang. Skint, Larry Flint skint means you have no money, basically. He comes across as the least wealthiest person in Whiterun, and he's the Jarl. But it seems as though he's do they have any items that are quite valuable, he wonders. He's not very much interested in iron weaponry, because he's sure that, I mean, he can make that himself. He's sure that any sort of, not novice, but beginner smith would be able to make some iron weaponry, so you can imagine that it's not going to be worth much. He's not quite sure if this is a storeroom or if this is a bedroom, but he's going to push his luck. And it's a bedroom. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, someone got up from their bed there. He's not quite sure if he woke them up opening the door.
This is the last time I'll say it.
Okay, this has certainly not gone well for Jair. Not the best night of thieving. That again, I mean, there was hardly anything in there, but you'd expect from, I mean, I could expect there not to be much in here, perhaps. A strike on the realism there, because you'd expect them to have a store of ingots and a store of, you know, items to smith with. They can't just conjure it up. But the most disappointing is Dragonsreach, the Jarl's own housing, where he lords over his lands, because you'd expect him to have a treasury or something. You'd expect him to have something of worth, and he had absolutely nothing. And that's an utter disgrace. I don't understand. They push for you to be able to thieve, and oh, thank you. Odd thing to say, but okay. But they push you. They push the idea that you can thieve, and yet there's nothing to steal. There's nothing of worth to steal, so why bother? But so the robbing the smiths wasn't very successful, as Jair just found out. He expected them to have some ingots, but they had none, and he's really he's sort of, I guess at this point he's kind of in a rush, because he's now tried to attempt to steal. He's managed to steal from the potion shop and Dragonsreach, but in attempting to steal from Dragonsreach and the smiths, people have noticed him. I mean, I don't think that's very fair, because clearly they didn't, but according to the game they did, so I guess I have to go with it. So he feels that, you know, time is running quite short. Somebody may rat him out any time soon. Well, of course they will not rat him out, as it were, sort of tell the authorities that someone's trying to steal. And he was hoping that this guy might have something of value, but even this guy doesn't seem to have anything. Huh. This must lead up to his bedroom. Jair is just... Oh, no, there he is. Ah, okay. Ah, well, she is going to push his luck once more and hope this is... What? What? La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. We weren't stealing from you. What? The ghost is not supposed to be here? Oh, of course, sir, of course. Ah, this game and its limitations, it does upset me. I can just imagine in the PC version there are quite a few mods that would allow you, like, would build up proper thieving missions or proper thieving locations and give you proper skills for thieving and such. So vanilla Skyrim is still quite the letdown in different areas, but of course this does not mean our character Jair is not going to give up thieving because of Whiterun being a dud. Of course, he is still looking at thieving as a very viable option for his career in life. He's a fugitive at the end of the day, and what's wrong with doing even more lawless things, as it were, because he's not escaping being a fugitive. He is probably never going to be able to escape that factor of his life, so he's certainly enjoying thieving, because the last few times he's done it, he's felt quite an excitement, a rush of adrenaline, and his heart's pumping because at any moment he could get caught and had the guards called on him, and a chase could ensue. He's been caught a few times though. Apparently the Nords don't really care. Although I don't know. I'm going to say he probably hasn't been caught. The only times he's been caught is by the children in Dragonsreach, which really they should have been in bed. I think it's a bit irritating that they're always in that room, because usually they're actually out in the main hall, and even during the day they were in that room. So vanilla Skyrim just acting up as usual. But anyway, having unsuccessfully stolen from the Smiths and the general goods store, and let's just, I mean, really, Dragonsreach, not much to steal from. Jair isn't really looking to stay around here for that much longer. He knows that there's a few houses around here, but he's not quite sure they're even going to have anything good in them, because if the shops are really poor, you can't imagine that the housing would, the people's houses would be much better. But these are quite big houses. He doesn't know that these are two of the biggest clans in Whiterun, but having a look at the lockpick, he's noticed that it's quite an easy lockpick, so I can't imagine there's much in there. Otherwise, they'll probably pay for a rather expensive lockpick. So he doesn't feel he can do any much more in Whiterun. He's now running the risk, staying longer, of getting caught and arrested, or perhaps even killed for trying to steal. So he's going to bid farewell to Whiterun, because there is really not much point staying here anymore. That he has no reason to.
Destroyed by a dragon.
A dragon?
Hard to believe,
What?
isn't it?
Okay. What on earth are you talking about, sir? But yes, he has no reason to stay in Whiterun now. He's tried his hand at thieving. He feels that he can certainly become quite the master at thieving if he practices enough. And although, you know, the spoils, the loot, the spoils of thieving were not great in Whiterun, he's not going to drop it now. He certainly had a thrill from trying to steal. Well, I'd say that his breaking in and sneaking around has been quite successful if we look past the game mechanics that really do fail. But the game mechanics that have led Jair down. But I'm sorry, there's someone yelling outside. I don't know what else is going on out there. Someone's yelling. But anyway, yes, he's going to leave Whiterun now, and he's not quite sure where he's going to move on to next. But he's noticed that there are some signs here, so he guess he's going to have to randomly pick one of these and hope that they'll bring him infamy and fortune from stealing. He's wondering which one would be better to steal, but he has no knowledge of any of these parts of Skyrim, so any one of them could be potential juicy morsels of thieveryness that wasn't a very good description, but yes. So he's going to say goodbye to Whiterun, and probably for some time now. The thieving, the loot wasn't that great, but he's got some practice in, and he's certainly enjoying the life of thievery, and he can see himself becoming a great thief and stealing great pieces of art, perhaps, or very priceless weaponry, and then being able to sell it for a vast fortune. That's what he sees right now in his future. Of course, his future could change at any moment. We just don't know. He's riding out on the thievery right now, but you know, Jair has no moral compass, I guess, to lead. Well, not moral compass. He has no instructions, no map to lead him to his next point in life. He's going where the wind takes him, I guess you could say, to coin a phrase. But yes. So what is in Jair's future? Will he become that master thief that he's seeing right now, or will his fortunes change?